There's two ways businesses end. They sell or they die. Those are the two outcomes. Be sold or be ended. And of those, hopefully you're choosing to be sold.
This one's all about making sure you can read your notes, right?
Yeah, this is all about my notes. I was like, what did I say? What was I thinking here? So I always wrestle with, there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes. It's weird to say, but like I have a lot of stuff moving, very busy days, very busy weeks. It feels like just a busy season of life. And I've disciplined myself to kind of like resist teasing because it always takes longer than I think. I had an idea right now that's like, I think I only shared it with a handful of folks 4 months ago, and I thought it was going to go live like within a month. It's 4 months later. It's still not live. And it's probably that experience where it's always like, I get so excited about it. And then I realize it takes so much longer than you think to see it to fruition.
Well, especially once you're busy, right? When you're like in a state of not having a billion things going on, you can launch something new pretty quick. But adding something into your currently busy life is a whole other thing.
Well, it is. Well, and it's like, it's what I get visibility into. That's the other thing. I'm not actually doing it, but I see all these things, right? So someone might bring an idea from the team. They're like, this is it. And I feel like, how's it going to be done? And so it feels like it's on the cusp, but then you realize it takes so much longer than it does. But I say that to preface, I have something fun and exciting that I'm trying not to jinx because I think it's going to be quick. But so I can share it as this much, and we'll document the full journey if it doesn't pan out. We were approached to sell one of our brands, so that was fun. So this is fresh and new, and so I wanted to talk about market trends. Here's what I saw, because in this context, I'm also speaking to, for anybody out there, you're always going to find disaster. It's not hard to find disaster. Like look outside. Like there's so many examples of disaster. My son got sick this weekend. I'm resisting the urge to get sick. You can find that all the time. That's easy.
Sure.
I'm trying to bring a little bit of good news. So take the lens. It might be this is like a diamond in the rough scenario, but I feel like it's entertaining and fun to talk about. Like we're going to focus on the diamonds as opposed to like, here's all the shovels of dirt in the sand that like panned out nothing. So this is I'm not saying this is categorically, you're going to find this around every corner, but for us, this is one of our brands. Their approach said we want to sell. This is the perspective from that side. So one, it was pretty cool. I thought I would have guessed this is not the moment, or maybe earlier on the season for where I was like guessing there'd be like a ton of buyers. And I'm not saying there are a ton of buyers. I think it was a little bit of pinpoint, pulled out and said, we want to sell. And here's the strategy they were employing and why this conversation started to happen. And I think we might see more of this year. That's all why I say it's relevant. So there is an expectation of rates dropping. I think in reality, rates have started to slightly drop. But I think I had kind of, from listening to things, also kind of thought, hey, maybe rates are going to drop. Big events always create fear and expectation together. Like that's just how it kind of works. So some people are going to see the unknown and be fearful. Some people are going to see the unknown and be hopeful. That's just like the same person will look at the same event and be like, it's the Black Swan event. This happened like COVID. Some people saw COVID and it was hugely disruptive, unknown event. And they're like fearful. Other people saw it and they're like, time to make money. Right. And it was like, and both were true.
Yep.
It just happens in the unknown. You've got potential for a movement, and that could be positive or negative. And so there are some folks starting to see that or anticipating in this unknown. The big unknown for anybody in the US is the election. I mean, to some degree, it's like it happens. We don't know what's going to happen. And that could have implications economically, socially. Like there's all these things that are kind of like baked into that. And so business runs the same way. And so if I were guessing, why did I think rates were going to drop in 2024? If you'd asked me last fall, I would have said, I think rates are going to drop in 2024. Why? It's because of election. I think there's all this pressure. You've got governmental pressure and this happens no matter who's in office. They want things to feel good. If things are horrible, that's like seasonally, when do you get a disruption in power? It's when everyone's discontent. If everything feels positive, that's when you categorically get a higher chance of, let's just keep it going in this direction. So you have, no matter who it is, whoever's in power is most motivated to stimulate, like to make the everyday voter feel like it's a positive experience. So to what consequence, we don't know, but I would expect rates drop. And, you want a hopeful bolstering in the economy, and hopefully there's enough of a lag of an effect of any sort of inflationary effect. So you just have the season of like, well, this was great. I could buy more. I could buy a new house. I could refinance and save money, right? It just pushes more money into the economy. Is what I'd be guessing. I think the same thing, there's going to be folks on the investment side that have this outlook. So what they were doing is they're doing a consolidation. They're rounding up these businesses, bringing them under the fold, and doing a roll up is in effect what you would consider it. So for folks that's new to me, there's kind of like two versions of the roll up. Maybe we've talked about it before on the show, but
a little bit.
Would you talk about the golden lasso? So you can lasso them together, or you can just do an acquisition. And it's just the world of business that bigger businesses are worth more. Because from a valuation standpoint, you consider most people buying businesses are looking at it for the potential for improvement. And if I can save 1%, like that's what I do. I make the 1% difference. A 1% of $50 million is worth more than 1% of $500. It's just math. And so that's why bigger portfolios, bigger businesses tend to be worth more. And that's what they're doing. So they're doing a roll up. They approached us to come in and to be part of the fold in the roll up. And the cool thing about it is there's the potential for, what you call 2 bites out of the apple. So you win on the initial sale. That was cool. Get a marked win there. They incentivize you to stay around, to still be part of the fold, and to roll up in here with equity in the bigger thing that you have there. So it's like, oh my gosh, I won for the work that was behind me, and I'm motivated to keep winning for the work that's ahead of me. And in some situations, your second bite can be bigger than your first bite. And so this is kind of one of those situations where it might map out that's the case. And the cool thing here is it's a strategic potential where they have a huge chunk of customers and they want to just cross-sell. So cross-selling is the opportunity, and that's where they see the win-win. They buy you at what you are today, and just from cross-distribution, you can find mutual wins on either side. So, or even if it's a single direction of distribution. So for anybody out there and you're building something, there's 2 ways businesses end, right? They sell or they die. I believe. I think that's it. Those are the 2 outcomes: be sold or be ended. And of those, hopefully you're choosing to be sold. And as you're thinking about that, this was an interesting thing. So how did it come about? So this is getting to some marketing takeaways. It was relational marketing. It was conversations, face to face, toes to toes. And we've talked about the power of events in the past. And I think this is just underscoring for me that you're not likely going to run ads saying like, I'm selling my business. And the pool of potential buyers or acquirers or any sort of opportunity there, you're just not going to find it in a cold audience. However, no one knows unless you say something. And I had a couple opportunities. I was in the room and I said something. And so we had those conversations, and that's what's catalyzed this thing. So I'll keep everyone in the loop. I'm super excited. It's one of those things where it's like, you don't want to jinx it, but right now it's good enough. It's going under due diligence. And there's, a million reasons why any, in a sense, marriage won't work. But at the surface, it seems really, really positive and hopeful. And from a marketing perspective, it's just, as people are looking at it, I would have thought there's less folks doing roll-ups right now, but I think there actually is folks that are eager. They're already seeing it, and they're dealing in volumes where, in this example, they're going from 15 to 100 million is kind of the journey. It's like, how do we go from 15 to 100? And they're not thinking, let's just do 6 times as much work. They're thinking,
right,
like, well, if we can merge and acquire companies where that can bring on one company worth X, and then just being a part of the family, we 3X the value of that company. But now, it grows the whole thing is what they're thinking about. And it was, I'll say the other value add here is specificity. This is the riches are in the niches. I'd say on like the other side of it, you can think and feel like when I say yes to something specifically, I'm saying no to 99 other things. And I've just seen it reaffirmed time and time again is I would rather be known for that one thing than in obscurity chasing the 99 things. And there was just another example where having that specificity really served us well because we were hyper specialized, and that's what made it attractive to them.
Awesome. That's really, really cool. I think the couple of big takeaways I got from that was, relationship marketing, right? Especially in shifting times, you got to make sure you're showing up, keeping relationships, talking with people. And then you said something really important, like they don't know you're even unless you tell them, right? So then you got to you have to be willing to share, be vulnerable about what your opportunities are. It's okay to say, yeah, I'm looking to sell in the near future. Some people think that's a negative thing, but the right people won't. And so I think that's really good stuff, good takeaways for this experience. And we'll be looking forward to hearing kind of how it develops.
Yeah, part 1, we'll call this. We'll see how it pans out.